Hi, welcome to Just Here to Chat. I'm going to be talking about in this video that feeling of being stuck, okay, in life, whether that's stuck in a job or a choice that we made or a relationship or where we live or anything along that line and how we discern that and what we do about it. So that's what today's video is going to be about. If if you like my content, please subscribe, like the video. Feel free to share it if you feel anyone else can benefit from it. All right. So if you're interested, stick around and we'll talk more. All right. Hi, welcome back. So, being stuck, what does that mean? What does that entail? That's usually something we feel deep down, and we can't always define it or describe it. We just know that something doesn't feel right or that we're just not happy or there's something. And sometimes we don't even see that, like we don't even acknowledge that. But maybe we're struggling with depression. And oftentimes, when it comes to that, we're always looking for external answers, right? What is what's wrong with me in a sense, and what can I do about that? And sometimes we're looking for a miracle pill, or we're looking for something that just makes it simple, whether it's a label or it's a and I don't want to invalidate that, because when we know something's wrong, we're problem solving and we're trying to figure out what is the cause of this. Is it in an illness? Like maybe I'm constantly having pain in a certain area, but every time I go to the doctor, they're like, there's nothing wrong with you. Well, I know when something's wrong, and maybe it's not major. Maybe it is. I mean, we hear oftentimes of people that it was missed because at the end of the day, doctors practice medicine. They're not miracle workers necessarily, but it's always nice when they can be, right? Um, at the end of the day, we're all human, okay? And sometimes things are missed. Sometimes we miss the things in our lives that we end up keeping ourselves stuck, if you will. So let's run through a few scenarios. All right. I don't want to, I'm trying to shorten these videos so that they're more palatable, or palatable. Sorry, I always mess that word up. Anyway, so if you think of a job, for instance, if you're doing a job and, you know, work is work. So there's usually some aspect of the work we do that we might not like. And I've touched on that in the past. Like in my field, the piece that I don't really like is the having to diagnose somebody and keep records of it, or like write notes. Not my favorite thing, but I understand. I understand the justification of it, and I do my part. Okay. But every job, regardless of how passionate you're going to be about, it's work. I was just having that conversation with someone today that everything takes work, even relationship, right? Relationship, job, feeling good. If I want to create peace in my life, I have to put effort into it. I have to put a level of energy into creating that peace for myself, right? Which seems almost counterintuitive. Like we think peace is just something that shines down on us. But no, it's inner work. It's working on your belief systems. It's working on putting yourself in environments that create peace for you, right? I know for me, some of the things that create peace for me is being in nature or working with my plants. When I'm repotting them, that's work. But it's enjoyable work, right? So the key with regards to a job or regards to a relationship or anything that we're engaging in life is what we're putting our energy into. What are we getting back from that? Are we getting back conflict or are we getting back peace? Okay? Because we really, I mean, everyone's on their own journey, but I know in my life I've come to a place that I only want to put energy into something that I'm going to derive some level of peace from. Okay. And then you have your own definition of what peace means. Peace does not necessarily mean, for some people, peace might mean contentment or quiet or just calm, right? Other people, peace is, I feel fulfilled or I feel empowered or, I mean, again, we're all different and there's really no right or wrong answer for that, nor does there have to be, okay? So be careful with that. Like when it's, again, we can often feel like we have to get other people to believe like us. When there are people that just naturally believe like us, we just maybe haven't found them, right? So again, it's knowing that. It's having that sense of, am I getting out of this what I was hoping for? And I'm not talking about necessarily a deep level of expectation. I just mean, like, if I keep putting work into something and all I keep getting back is some level of conflict. Now, I'm not talking that outside of the comfort zone that is perceived as conflict, okay? I'm talking actual conflict, like I just keep arguing, or I'm putting all this effort, you still don't understand what I'm saying, or I keep putting in a 40-hour work week and I'm getting maybe less than my value back in pay, or what my perceived value is, right? Or I don't feel the reciprocity, okay? And that can be applied to anything that we engage our energy into in this world, okay? Reciprocity. It's not always tit for tat. So if I give you, I don't know, if I put gas in your tank today, well, perfect example. I went out to the movies, for my Halloween. There's a group of us that like to do some scary things every Halloween, whether it's go to a haunted house or go see a scary movie, whatever the case may be. But my niece and I, a couple weeks ago, went to see The Nun 2. Okay, it's part of the series. I forget the name of it, but it's one of the only scary series that I actually really enjoy. I don't know, guilty pleasure. But anyway, we went, and because I have like a Fandango app, I bought the tickets, and she's like, well, I'll Venmo the money to you. And I'm like, no. I'm like, not thinking that, popcorn and water would be the same amount as the tickets. I was like, no, just you buy the treats. So the thing is, it's like, I could have had her Venmo me the money, but I don't care about that. Or, it was, all right, put energy into something else that I might enjoy, right? So it doesn't have to be necessarily tit for tat. It still ended up being financial or whatever, but you get my point, I hope, right? So like if I'm going on vacation or a day trip with somebody and I put gas in the car, okay, maybe they then buy me dinner or bring me to my favorite place, right? Or something like that. And then it's like, oh, this is so worth it no matter what I put into it. Do you know what I mean? Reciprocity. And oftentimes we instinctually know when things are out of balance, but we don't always, if we're not paying attention, we're not always sure when it comes time to address that, what is exactly out of balance. We just feel like things are out of balance or whatever the case may be. So that's just one little hint as to when we feel stuck. So if I'm working in a job that I'm feeling more unfulfilled and conflictual about than I am gaining empowerment from, or feeling like it's pushing me on my path, then I might feel stuck, okay? If I'm in a relationship that I keep putting effort towards, but I always feel like I'm misunderstood, or I don't feel like my love language is being met or something like that, then I might feel stuck depending on my belief systems around those things, right? So some people, they might realize they don't like their job, but they're unwilling. Sometimes it's unwilling that makes a person stuck. I'm unwilling to change this job because I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to be perceived as a quitter, right? Some people stay in relationships for similar reasons. Other times it's also their belief systems around religion or other types of beliefs that have been put on you, okay? Let's face it, we don't just organically believe in things. We believe in things because we've been subjected to them, or it's not always a bad thing. That's so I don't want to make it sound like I'm painting that as negative. Having a value system, a core belief system is very important to having a fulfilled life. What I always try and highlight is be careful with those core belief systems to make sure that they're serving you. And I don't mean in a selfish way, okay? It's important to make sure that you're not keeping yourself in a miserable state of being because of somebody else's belief system that was put on you that you don't necessarily resonate with, right? And that's what I'm trying to talk about is if you resonate with it, like if that you truly gain pleasure and not superficial pleasure, but it really empowers you and makes you feel good and you're happy within your convictions, okay? That you're not miserable going to work every day, but you're doing it because you don't want people to judge you or because you don't want to feel bad about yourself because it's of your belief systems, but it's keeping you miserable, then that's that feeling of being stuck. And what it's trying to tell you, okay, is that you have other choices. However, in order to make a choice that you're going to feel empowered in, it has to be aligned with you. And what I mean with that is that if you are believing that you are unworthy, for instance, but you really, really want love all right, we'll go there, right? I really want love, but I don't feel worthy. Then when love comes across your door, you'll probably self-sabotage it, right? Because it's not aligned with your inner belief systems. And that's indication that healing and work needs to be done so that you can feel worthy, okay? If you, and you can apply that to any situation, okay? Any situation. If I'm allergic to everything around me, but I stay where I'm at because that's, what I believe I'm supposed to do, or because people say, oh, you have to stay here because this is where your family's at. But, it's kind of like if I lived in an environment that I don't like. If I love being in city life, but I keep myself living on a farm because that's where I'm told I'm supposed to be, but it's not aligning with me, right? I might feel stuck. And then that is going to ebb into everything else in our life, okay? If we are feeling unhappy, unfulfilled, and we're purposefully keeping ourselves in that situation, regardless, but oftentimes because of our beliefs, and sometimes it's because we just can't, right? If I don't like living on a farm and I want to live in the city, but I can't afford the city, well, then what do I do, right? And that's where goals and other things come into play, because not all decisions can happen like that, right? Not everything just because I recognize that that's what I'm aligned with. How do I get there, right? Because it might not happen like, oh, I want that. Let me make it happen right now. No, that's why we have long-term goals. How do I get there? Do I have to, I don't know, maybe create a budget, maybe go back to school, maybe it really depends, If I recognize that there's a calling that I really, really want to do, but I have to go to school, and I don't mean necessarily just college, but maybe I need more education on it. Maybe that's something I can do without going to school. Maybe it's more about looking things up and researching, or whatever the case may be. I guess my point is that we live in an age right now where there's a lot of information at our fingertips, okay? If you recognize what it is that you need, be willing to be innovative, okay? How do I obtain the information that I need in order to push me along that path that's going to lead me to my long-term goals? And also being present in the moment so that if you need to make fine-tuning adjustments as you go along, you're going to recognize that because you're in tune with yourself, you're paying attention to your environment, you're being mindful. And with that, you're going to gain the confidence that you need to trust yourself to make the decisions that are going to be in your best and highest good. So I could talk about this all day. I already went over the time that I wanted to do. So hopefully that's helpful. If you found any tidbits of information in here, I that's what I wish for you. That's my intention. And good luck. And I'm sure this topic will come up in the future as well as we talk more along purpose and other things like that. But it's important to pay attention to yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, that's what needs to be healed first. And it's not healed overnight, but pay attention, be aligned with yourself, and recognize your ebbs and flows, okay? Recognize when you're feeling aligned with something or when it's repelling you. And then you go a little deeper as to the whys and the hows and what do I do with that and what does that mean for my longer term. But you got to start first with, is it even aligned for me? Am I feeling stuck or am I feeling good about what I'm doing? Okay. All right. Have a great day and I'll talk soon.